It's been a hot minute since we talked, so let's dive into what's happened in the world of Planetside 2 over this past short while. Well, we can't exactly say it's been a quiet time. There's been a number of things going on in and around this lone beacon of MMO FPS awesomeness. Firstly, if you hadn't noticed, the PS4 big ol' performance and amazement build made it through cert and out to a console near you. I know there are people who watch these videos who play on PS4. You've left many comments before, so please, if you are one of those people, do leave a comment below with your thoughts and passionate opinions, as I don't actually have a console to try on. I'd love to know how much better the game feels. If those pesky stability problems are a thing of the past, let me know. More recently, there's been an update from the devs on the forums about the future of the PC Briggs server in Australia. Basically, it seems that Briggs has come to the end of its time and is being merged with the Soltec server that is, as far as I know, based in Tokyo. I'm guessing this is a pure population issue. I do really feel for my Aussie friends who are kind of at the mercy of the geographic population densities for their gaming enjoyment, but I do hope they can find some fun in trading some latency to play on a larger collective server. I have seen some discussions on whether the merge should have been done with Connery over Soltec though. The argument seems to be that there is often a language barrier for those players playing on a server based in Asia, which is, obviously understandable. Though the devs have opened the option to move characters from Soltec to Connery during September if people want, though I do acknowledge that this does take some organisation and can place a strain on groups looking to decide what they actually want to do collectively. Again, let me know in the comments your thoughts on Briggs and this whole merging situation. Oh, and before I forget, I saw Nidian Steve, aka Hulky Beast, mention on the forums the idea for a Briggs decal for people who wanted to rep it on a new server. Kind of like that idea that it shows player lineage. Might even be nice to collect for other players who maybe didn't even play on Briggs, but were around at the same time. It'd be nice if the devs had some thoughts or other ideas in that sort of general direction. And just a quick interlude to ask, if you do enjoy this video, please do tap the thumb up button, as it really does help me out with YouTube and the chances of it appearing as like a recommended video and stuff like that. So thanks, I super appreciate it. One of the larger hefty hunks of news was Rel's development letter talking about what was on the list for future efforts and plans for the rest of the year. We've talked about mentorship before in previous videos, but that the devs are already looking to expand on it makes a lot of sense in many ways. Leveraging the vast community knowledge and training that can be provided to newbies makes a lot of sense. There's also the talk of trusted community members being whitelisted and allowed to talk in the new player channels in-game to help out and answer questions and stuff like that. While they're also looking at lowering the requirements for players who are helping newer players and earning mentorship ribbons. There's also talks of improvements to the death camera, basically bringing it perhaps a little more in line with the experience that people expect from a modern day video game, where the camera doesn't just show where you died, but also a look from, where from. And I know this can be a potent topic for some. We're not talking about a full kill cam with the last 5 seconds of gameplay from another person's perspective or anything like that, but a single shot look at the direction from which you receive damage is sort of enough to teach new players about base layout, and isn't enough to spoil the tactical positioning of your lightning as you farm some mad XP. There's more chat about new player experiences, and in particular the replacement of the current tutorials that are in place on PC. And from the last dev stream they talked about the possibility of having these tutorials accessible, hopefully, from Sanctuary 2. It all seems very positive and would allow new players to dip back into that sort of pool of tutorials if they realise that they didn't quite understand the mechanic. And speaking of Sanctuary, Rel wanted to clarify some points that were made in that July developer stream. Let me quote directly here. For initial implementation, we'll be targeting the release of time-limited vendors of exotic and rare gameplay rewards, lore elements, and all-faction voice and text chat. Ideally, our tutorial modules would follow, or optimistically be coupled with, the initial release of the zone. Having a social hub in place also gives us a better holding area for players waiting in queue. Lets us build out some of the lore elements that we've been working towards in the background over the past year, and creates the necessary foundation for long-term gameplay elements we're looking to introduce next year and beyond. Which does all sound really good, though when it lands I do hope it does so with some gameplay elements to make it feel like a functional rather than almost cosmetic addition to the game for experienced players. It doesn't have to be anything massive, but those vendors for those exotic and rare gameplay rewards are the glimpse of the real new, the people who've been around for a while. Finally, the developer letter outlines a new feature, the mandate system for generating challenges with set rewards. but in a more flexible and sort of adaptable way than something like directives that we have now. Mandates can be daily, weekly, or seasonally, but the real advantage and power to change how it feels to play seems to come from the way that they can be generated on the fly based on the server status. And using their example, if a server starts an aerial anomaly alert, then the mandate system could also generate some missions tied into that alert, such as set rewards for taking down enemy aircraft, delivering data, or supporting other friendly aircraft. Further excitement comes from the future ambition to have multiple players contribute towards the same mandate, perhaps even at a faction level, and then have those factions then in turn compete against each other. I'm interested in this new system as it seems like an interesting way to inject drive and purpose into a game that, for new players especially, is unusual for not giving you specific goals. The dynamic nature of the mandate system is certainly the most exciting part of it though for me. Having alerts effectively generate multiple ways not only to enjoy the game, but also earn player level rewards gives so much more incentive to actually take part in those alerts. Although the long-term goal is for it to track over a number of players, I'll be hopeful that the at least initial implementation would have some sort of unifying mechanism or design where the mandate and the rewards weren't sort of, random per player. So have the whole server get the same incentives and possible rewards. Not just for sort of balance sake, but also for sort of squad and platoon coherence. You don't want half of your platoon getting a sort of good mandate reward and want to take part in the alert while the other people get a sort of bad one and then don't. The developer letter wraps up talking about OSHA still being on the list, NSO weapons, vehicles, and of course normal focus on bug fixing and balance. So there might not be a lot of visual eye candy to talk about in this Planetside 2 news world. There are certainly some interesting things happening, and the promise and expectation that more fun is being added to this game that we all love. I'll of course link the developer letter in the description below. And talking of that description, if you carry on scrolling down, you'll reach the comments section, because I'm wondering what you think about all this news, the Briggs situation, the PS4 update, the mandate, Sanctuary, the whole lot. Leave me a comment below right now. I assure you I read every single one of them. If you enjoyed this video, please do tap the thumb up button, the subscribe button, and the notification bell so you know when the next one is fresh out the oven. As always, thank you for your support and for watching this video. I know it's been a bit longer of a gap than normal, so I apologize for that. Been a little bit under the weather, but thanks again so much for watching. I'll see you next time. Take care.